Hi, welcome back to Chats and Stuff. I am Michelle. Today is a really exciting episode. We are introducing something that has been in the making for quite a while, creative and stuff health. I am accommodated by our head of medical, and we will be talking a little bit today about why marketing in the health industry is not just another niche market, but a completely different world. But before we dive into that, Suvasha, please tell me a little bit more about yourself.
Thank you, Mish. By way of quick introduction, I am Suvasha Mahadiev. I have been in the healthcare industry for more than 16 years now, so it's been my absolute pride and passion. And I currently head up the healthcare division at CNS Health. And I think before we kick off and go into healthcare marketing, maybe just to give a little bit of insight of our healthcare division. So we are a specialist communications division in the health and wellbeing sector. And we've had the privilege of working across all therapeutic areas and all brands across the spectrum. So that includes your OTC brands, which is more aimed at consumer level, your highly prescriptive medicines, your medical devices, and so forth. And it's across the full brand spectrum. We serve the full brand cycle as well. So kind of think of us as this powerful potion of science and creativity and strategy and storytelling all coming together. And that, I think, is our powerful blend of what really sets us apart.
I love that. That is really amazing. I think being in the medical industry is really huge. I mean, we really have to think about how many brands are out there in this industry. But something that really is interesting to me for Creative and Stuff Health is our tagline. And our tagline is, we are brand storytellers at a molecular level. Now, Suvi, please tell me what that actually means.
Absolutely. So that's my favorite part. So at a molecular level, that's exactly where we start. We pride ourselves in calling and believing in ourselves as brand storytellers, and that's because we truly start at the molecular level. And what that means is when you've got a product, so whether it has a technology or a composition, which is the active ingredients in it, we dig deep there, and that's where we start with our understanding. So understanding what is your product composed of, what is the technology about it, what's unique about it, what's the mode of action, what sets it apart to the competitors, understanding that landscape, understanding insights. So there's a lot of thinking and background that goes into it, and we really get into those nitty-gritties to what we kind of call finding those hidden gems. So those are the gems that really allows us to uncover your brand story. And that's where our brand storytelling comes into play, really taking those gems and crafting a very creative and compelling story that connects your brand to your audience.
Yes, that's very nice, because I think if you really think about normal marketing in the industry, a lot of people just try and sell a product or sell something to you. But health marketing is completely different, and we have a lot of things that we need to think about. Let's talk about the big word in healthcare marketing, which is compliance. Most creatives will see it as a challenge, but we see it a little bit different. Why is that, Suvi?
Absolutely, Michelle. I think a lot of the pharmaceutical companies see compliance as red tape, and we do, as you say, see it differently. That's a challenge for us. And, it respectfully has that kind of association of red tape around it, because remember, at the end of the day, we're not just marketing brands. We are helping doctors make more informed choices about these products. We're helping consumers understand brands. And somewhere along their journey, we're helping improve patients' lives as well. So it's the kind of privilege that we don't take lightly. And I think when it comes to compliance, I don't want to say that let's not see it as red tape, because we're governed by those rules to make sure that we're always clinically sound and scientifically accurate. But rather understand the code well enough so that we are able to push boundaries. And that's where our expertise comes into play. So we know the code in and out, like it is our holy grail. And that's what allows us to push those boundaries and challenge our ways in thinking creatively And that's where our expertise comes into play, Masha. I think it's very important being able to know the marketing code in and out and being very thorough with it, which we respectfully do so, but having to be able to challenge the code as well safely and compliantly. So that's where we bring forth that challenge, where you're able to creatively push those boundaries, push the envelope, and if I can actually say, color right on the edge of the line. So that's what we are able to bring to the table because we're so experienced with the marketing code.
Yes, that's very nice, because looking at health marketing, like I have mentioned, there are so many different brands out there, and something that's very interesting for what we do is we really push that boundaries, like Subhasha said. You really need to be able to connect to the consumer. It's not just selling something. You really need to be able to educate them on a scientific level on what is happening with the brand and what is in the product and why that is beneficial for them and their lifestyle. But something that I also wanted to talk about is we don't only market to the consumers, we market to the doctors as well. So the medicine stays the same, but the message changes. So Suvi, tell me a little bit about the difference between those two audiences, from a doctor to a patient.
So exactly like you say, the message stays the same. And I think you've hit it right on there, because a lot of companies and advertising companies forget that there's a golden thread throughout all of your campaigns always. So when you're talking to a healthcare professional, it's obviously on a more academic level, and they're broken into various segments as well, because you've got pharmacy level, you've got doctor level, and you've got specialist level. And at a pharmacy level, you're a bit more disruptive and fun because they're open to that kind of communication. Versus a GP or specialist, it's very more academic, professional, and serious because they rely on clinical data, clinical efficacy, clinical confidence on your product. Whereas a consumer, on the other hand, we're driven, and I call us ourselves consumers, we're driven by empathy and our connection and by authenticity. So when you talk to a consumer, you should be able to connect with them on an authentic level, provide them with enough of information to make informed decisions or empower them to have those conversations with their doctors, and relevant information, because that's what consumers are searching for. So it's having a different tonality to consumers versus your doctors or your healthcare professionals, but always remembering that you've got a golden thread messaging running through both of them and having to connect both the consumer and the healthcare professional together.
That is a very big thing for me, is connecting the consumer and the healthcare professional. Now, something that is happening recently, and I think it's very important, is that the consumer is not just directly going to their doctors anymore. They are starting to just search online.
Absolutely.
Something is wrong, I've got a blocked nose, or my ear, I've got earache. Now, what am I going to go do? Some people just go onto TikTok or to Google, googling their symptoms, what can they use, home remedies. But this is where we come into play, and where your brands needs to come into play is to be online and to be digital and to be present. So Suvi, please tell me why it is so important for brands in the pharmaceutical industry to be on digital platforms.
I think the way forward is omnichannel, because digital has really evolved, and I think maybe just tracking back to COVID, post-COVID, it really changed the way or the healthcare landscape completely. So from your traditional ways of a rep goes in and has those face-to-face interactions with a healthcare professional, those fell away during COVID, and immediately you saw that shift where pharmaceutical companies hopped into digital, sending out mailers, sending out WhatsApp videos, having that digital kind of communication. Telehealth came into play as well, online consultations. So as you say, a consumer, even myself, if there's something wrong, I'm going to Google. It's your absolute nature to do that. What's wrong, and how can I fix this? And that's where you have to intercept the consumer. So you're not just intercepting the consumer because you want to push your brand out there, but because you want to give them enough information to make those informed decisions. You don't want to also scare them, but just enough information to actually go to a pharmacist and say, okay, this is what I've experienced. How can you help me? Because at the end of the day, we also want those in scripting to lie with the pharmacist and the doctor. That's their expertise that they bring to consumers. But what we find nowadays is that a consumer is so empowered, they go straight to the doctor. Hi, doctor, I want this. Please script it for me. That's what's actually happening. And it's a problem. As much as you want to empower consumers, you want to be able to also get the correct diagnosis from a doctor, because there's so many things that's underlying in your medical history that's not what Google gives you. So online marketing, very important to intercept, educate, also building those kinds of communities for consumers where they, because as you say, peer reviews comes into play. You go into TikTok, you want to see how product works, what the kind of journey is like. So I think it's very important, and it has its space, just as the traditional side has its space as well. But bringing those two together, that's where brands win. And that's what really elevates your campaign.
That's lovely. And they build that trust online.
Absolutely.
So as we have spoken now about being online with a digital presence in the pharmaceutical and health industry, I also just wanted to quickly touch on what we mentioned in our previous podcast, that we wrote a little bit of a social media playbook. So I did mention that I will let you guys know when that playbook is going to go live. And I officially have a date. 16 August 2026, our social media playbook for Facebook and Instagram will be live. If you want any more information on it, please let us know in the comments below. So we have spoken about quite a few educational things today for the health and pharmaceutical industry. And something that I would really like to know from Subhasha is, if you had one piece of advice for anybody in the health and pharmaceutical industry, what would that be?
My one piece of advice would be to really understand your brand story and to connect that between the healthcare profession and the consumer. Don't see them as two separate entities, because remember, that golden thread is so important, because you need an empowered consumer to work with a doctor, and that's how your brand sells. And at the end of the day, because we're all as humans seek that connection, so being able to make that connection helps you build your brand loyalty and maintain your brand loyalty. So that would be my one piece.
I love that piece of advice. So there you have it. Also, to stay consistent through your storyline is very critical and very important. So if you are in the pharmaceutical industry and you are looking for a strategic partner, we would love to open that conversation. Or if you would just like some more information, please feel free to visit our website at www.andstuff.studio. Coming up in our next podcast episode, we will be talking about strategies and why it is the anchor for your brand. And I will be joined by another employee that will be taking us through all of the insights. So stay tuned, and we hope that you enjoyed this episode.